Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. If you've been asking yourself the question, what should I buy? Silver coins, silver bars, or silver rounds? Then this is the video for you, because that is the question I am going to be answering in this video. And this was actually a question that was left for me in a comment on a recent video by viewer NCR Ranger. So shout out to NCR Ranger and all the Fallout fans out there. Thank you very much for watching and leaving me that question, NCR Ranger. And rather than leave him a response in the comments section, I decided why not just make a video, because this is a question that I think all silver stackers have asked at one point or another. And so in this video, we're going to cover what the differences are between these different physical bullion products, what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of each type of silver, and then also we'll be discussing how each type of silver can fit into your overall silver stacking strategy. So stick around, it's going to be a great video. We're going to cover a lot of information, and we're also going to take a look at a lot of awesome silver. So let's get to it. First off, I do want to say a big thank you to everybody for tuning into my video today. If you like this video and you get some value from it, please do give it a big thumbs up down below. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to the channel? Alright, so silver coins, silver bars, or silver rounds. Which one should you be buying? Which one should you be adding to your stack? Well, that's going to depend on where you're at on your silver stacking journey. There's no clear-cut answer for everybody. As you can see, I like to stack all three, but we're going to just talk about what some of the advantages and disadvantages of the different types of bullion are. And let's start off with silver coins, because this is kind of your gold standard. This is an American Silver Eagle. If you're in North America, this is probably going to be the most recognizable silver bullion coin that you're going to find. Let's talk about what the differences are between a silver coin and a silver round, because these are certainly the same shape. They kind of look similar. Each one is 0.999 fine silver. They each contain 1 troy ounce. So what makes these different? Why is one a round and one a coin? Well, the coin is made by a government mint. In this case, it's made by the US Mint, the Silver Eagle. And you can see that the Silver Eagle has a $1 face value. So you could go out and spend this silver dollar the same way that you would spend a dollar bill, for example. I wouldn't recommend it, since one of these coins is going to cost you probably 30 bucks or more at the moment, so probably don't want to spend it for that face value, but it does have that, and it is legal tender within the United States. Whereas this round, this is just made by a private mint, and it does not have any legal tender status. It's not technically money, although, you know, in my opinion, all silver is money after a fashion, but this does not have any kind of face value. So this is merely valuable because of its silver content and possibly any collectability, although typically with silver rounds, I mean, I'm sure there is a collectible market for them, but it's not real significant. I mean, rounds are about as generic as you get. But so that's the difference. These are made by a government mint, and these are made by a private mint. Now, if you're stacking modern bullion coins, the gold standard, typically what you're going to encounter is that the coins are going to be at least 0.999 fine silver. They're going to weigh 1 troy ounce. That is typically how coins are minted, although there are exceptions to that rule, of course. For example, this Canadian $10 Kraken coin, really cool coin. I like these quite a bit, but these are 2 ounces. These are put out by the Royal Canadian Mint, so it is a coin, but it's not 1 troy ounce. So that is not necessarily a rule. It's just typically what you'll encounter. And like I said, there are exceptions to that. Like, take a look at this $10 Australian Kookaburra. This is 10 ounces of fine silver, so definitely a gigantic coin. And to me, I mean, something like this feels almost like a bar. I mean, it's got so much heft, but technically this is a coin. Like, you could go out and spend this in Australia. It would have $10 face value. Again, probably not recommended that you do that, but I just want to point out that there are some exceptions to that rule. And then if you get away from the modern bullion coins and you go back to some older stuff, like, for example, a Morgan silver dollar, these coins are going to be composed of 90% silver, at least old US coins for the most part, because they were designed to actually circulate. These were put out at a time when the actual coinage was made of silver. These had to be a little bit more durable, so these are 90% silver and 10% copper. And then some of these older coins have a fair collectible premium. Like for example, this is a Carson City Morgan silver dollar, a little bit less common than some of your other coins, and this is going to carry a fairly significant numismatic premium. So it's just something to be aware of, that with these older coins, some of them will be valuable only for their silver weight, but some do have a fair numismatic premium, meaning that they're just going to sell for more than just the value of the silver within them. And then if you want to get a coin that's older or circulated, but you don't want to pay a big premium for it, then something like this Walking Liberty half dollar would be a good option. This is what is known as junk silver. So this is again a 90% silver coin. This one was minted in 1938, and these coins were minted up until 1964. Not this specific pattern, but half dollars that are 90% silver. And the same goes for quarters and dimes. Old US quarters and dimes from 1964 and earlier are going to be composed of 90% silver. So that is another type of coin you might look at. And then just to give you a couple other examples of old world circulated coins, there are a lot of coins from around the world from say 1964-ish and earlier that are composed of silver, and this is a collection that I have of kind of random mixed world coins. Now, I wouldn't necessarily advise anybody to stack any of this stuff. And, by the way, none of this is financial advice or investment advice anyway. I'm just kind of showing you guys some different types of physical silver and giving you my thoughts on those. But these are not something I would go out of my way to purchase. I just happen to acquire all of these coins at garage sales and yard sales. I used to be big into going around to estate sales and stuff, buying it, flipping it on eBay, flipping it on Amazon, that sort of thing. And since I'm a silver stacker, I would always ask if people had coins or bars, and sometimes people would bust out a coin collection or something like that, and I'd try to pick it up, and then I'd sort through it, and I'd take whatever wasn't silver and try to sell it anywhere I could find a market for it, but then I'd keep the silver. So I have these old miscellaneous assorted world coins. Again, not something I would necessarily try to make a significant portion of my stack out of, because the problem with these is when you go to sell them, they're not going to be super recognized more than likely. It's not going to be the most liquid form of physical silver, but if you come across these and you can purchase them for well below their spot value, definitely something you might want to try to acquire in a situation like that. And then one other difference between, say, a coin and a round is that the coins generally are going to carry a higher premium than the rounds. So government mints, when they're putting out these coins, they can charge dealers a higher premium than private mints can, just because coins are very recognizable. They're a little more desirable maybe than rounds for some investors. So these are going to carry a higher premium. So if you want to get the most silver for your money, coins are probably not going to be the best option. The flip side of that is that if you want the physical silver bullion investment that is the most recognizable, the most liquid, then modern bullion coins like your American Silver Eagle or like your South African Krugerrand or your Australian Kangaroo, those are going to be your best bet. And there's also the possibility that even though you might be paying a higher premium today when you buy these coins, you might be getting that back when you go to sell as well. Like, for example, folks who stacked Silver Eagles over the past 10 years or so are seeing that because the premiums on these coins have gotten so high and they're rising, that the coins have moved up for them faster than just the spot price of silver. So there's definitely something to be said for stacking silver coins. Okay, so that's enough about coins. What about silver rounds? What kind of role do these play for silver stackers? Well, silver rounds they're similar to coins. I mean, they look very much like a coin. The only difference is, like I said, they're from a private mint. So there's a lot more variety when it comes to silver rounds. As you can see, I've got several different patterns here. And as a general rule, these will be 1 troy ounce, at least 3 nines fine silver. And there are exceptions to that rule. For example, this is a 1/10 ounce silver round, and this has got the buffalo pattern on it, which buffalo rounds are probably one of the most common pattern rounds you'll encounter. I don't have any here to show you in the 1 ounce size, but I do have this 1/10 ounce size round. Now, as a general rule, these fractional silver rounds, I would stay away from these. One of the main benefits of generic silver rounds is that they are a very low premium form of silver, so meaning when you buy these, you're not going to pay a huge markup over the spot price. But fractional rounds like this tend to carry a very high premium over the melt value of the round. And they're just something, I mean, I have one. I don't have any other fractional silver rounds, I don't think. I just have this one, which is more or less for demonstration purposes. But generally, that's something I would steer clear of. If you do want to have some fractional silver, something small and divisible, then you're probably better off with something like these mercury dimes. These are coins, like I was talking about earlier, the junk silver, dimes minted before 1964. If you absolutely have to have silver in a very small denomination, this is going to be your better bet. The premiums on this, while they're not non-existent, they're going to be lower than on those fractional silver rounds. But what silver rounds are great for is just getting a lot of silver for your money and still having it be fairly divisible. The 1 ounce size means that, when you go to sell, you can sell just 1 ounce at a time, or you can sell as many as you want, but you're not pigeonholed like you would be, say, with a heavier bar where you'd have to sell a large amount of silver in one shot. You wouldn't have any way to break it up. 1 ounce rounds are great because they are very divisible. While there are exceptions like that fractional silver round, all of the silver rounds I've ever encountered, say out in the wild, so to speak, like just picking up stuff at coin shops or coin shows, that sort of thing, they're all 1 ounce. I've not really encountered a whole lot of fractional silver rounds. And I would say that if I were just getting started stacking silver, silver rounds are probably the product I would look to myself, because you will get the most silver for your money with this product. It is divisible. You don't want to go out and, say, pick up like a kilo silver bar for your first silver bullion investment, because then if you need to sell it, you've got to sell all your silver in one shot. Whereas if you get 30 silver rounds or something along those lines, that's kind of roughly comparable to a kilo. It's 32.15 troy ounces. But if you buy 32 1 ounce silver rounds instead of a kilo bar, you'll have the option and the flexibility to sell smaller increments of silver at one time. So I would say if I was just getting started, my strategy would be to acquire some number of rounds. I mean, it depends on your individual situation and how much you're looking to invest. But I would say a safe number for me, nice round number, is I would want to get about 100 ounces of generic silver rounds before I started looking at anything else, really. Now, if you want some silver with some heft, something with a little more weight to it, then silver bars are going to be the product you want to be taking a look at. And silver bars can be anywhere from 100 troy ounces, and they actually get bigger than this. You could get 1,000 troy ounce bar, for example, although I would say that 100 is about as high as I would want to go, because 1,000 ounce bar, honestly, it's just going to be kind of difficult to move around. It's going to be cumbersome. If you drop it on your foot, you might lose a foot. So, hey, 100 ounce, probably the highest you want to go. And even the 100 ounce bars are a little bit big. Personally, I really like kilo bars. As you can see, I also am a big fan of these 20 ounce bars. I like the Scottsdale stackers. These are really nice because they're machined. They have that little lip, so they stack up real nice. And silver bars are awesome. I mean, they really have a different feel to them than coins or rounds. They really feel a lot more like treasure to me. I know I've said that on previous videos, might sound a little silly, but there's just something about the heft of a silver bar that really can get you as a stacker. They are awesome, and once you start stacking silver bars, it can be hard to go back to stacking anything else. Another thing about bars is there's a lot of vintage bars. So for example, like this Engelhard. Engelhard, I believe, went out of business sometime in the late 80s or early 90s. They were a silver manufacturer for many years, very popular one. But they're not making these Engelhard bars anymore. So this one's not super collectible or anything, but it does have a little bit of a collectible premium simply because, Engelhard's never going to make any more silver bars. So the supply that's out there is what's out there. I'm sure a lot of these bars have probably been melted down over the years at the refiner. So a shrinking, dwindling supply means that there may be some collectible premium associated with this. There's a lot of vintage poured bars out there, for example. So a lot of these bars that you're looking at here are cast. They're pretty inexpensive to manufacture, but sometimes mints will produce what's known as poured bars. So this is an example of a poured bar. This is from Monarch Precious Metals, and you can just see it has a uniqueness to it. It has some imperfections, and that because this wasn't made in a cast mold. This was poured in an open top mold, so it just gives the bar a little bit more character. And this is a modern poured bar, so they're still making these. You can buy these right now. They have a little bit of a higher premium than, say, a cast bar does. But I like poured bars. They don't make up the bulk of my stack. But the thing about poured bars is that some of the older ones, say that were made in the 70s or the 80s or even way before that, are vintage products, and they're very collectible, and there's definitely a collectible market for them out there, more so I would say than there are, for example, silver rounds. And obviously there's a big market for coin collection, but you don't want to neglect the fact that bars have the possibility to have a collectible premium on them as well. So, you know, when you're out there shopping around for bars, if you see something old or kind of unique or interesting, do a little research on it. One way you can do that is you can hop on eBay and you can just kind of try to find a similar product that's sold and see if there's a premium attached to it. And if you can find those, say you're at a garage sale or an estate sale or even a local coin shop, maybe they have come into some older bullion products. Those, if you can get them at a low premium, then it might be advantageous for you because it could be that those bars have a collectible value as well. And bars, generally speaking, are going to be your lowest premium silver product. Now, rounds, you can get these pretty low a lot of the times. You can find deals and get a low premium on these, but bars, it's just cheaper for mints to make, say, one 20-ounce bar than it is for them to produce 21-ounce rounds. It's just a less expensive process. There's less machining, there's, less work involved with it. So large silver bars typically will have your lowest premium, and you can get stuff like this generic bar. I mean, these are probably going to be your absolute lowest premium silver, unless you're finding a special deal on something. Just like generic 10-ounce or more silver bars, generally going to be a very good deal. You're going to be getting a lot of silver for your money. You're going to try to maximize the amount of silver that you can get for your dollars with a product like this. So they definitely have a place in any investor's silver stack, in my opinion. And I do really like silver bars. There's just something about them. I would say out of all the different types of silver bullion that you can stack, bars are my personal favorite. They're just the most satisfying to hold and to stack up and to play around with. I will say, though, that if you are a new stacker, probably it is a good idea, like I mentioned earlier, to get your hands on either some coins or some rounds, something that's a little bit more divisible than the bars before you get into stacking bars. You want to have a core position of something that is more divisible so that if you do need to go sell some silver at some point, you don't have to sell it in big increments if you don't want to. You want to have some 1-ounce products on hand so that you can sell small amounts of silver. You want to have that option. So what should you be buying as a stacker? Should you be buying coins, bars, or rounds? Well, like I said, my answer is that I stack them all. I do like them all quite a bit. And I think there's some benefit to having a diverse silver stack. With something like the American Silver Eagles, they're super recognizable. They're going to be your most liquid form of silver. So if you really need to sell, you're always going to have a buyer with those. With older junk silver coins, you get a divisible piece of silver. So if you needed to ever barter with your silver, for example, coins like that might be a good way to go. Silver coins like this Carson City Morgan dollar, these have a nice premium attached to them. They're collectible, so kind of a twofold hedge against inflation. You're not just hedging with the silver weight, you're also hedging with their collectible premium. Silver rounds, a lot of fun different patterns, fun to collect, a great way to get divisible 1-ounce silver for a very low premium. And then bars are just awesome. And if you're buying the right kind of bar, like these Scottsdale bars, for example, these I was able to buy over the past couple years for a very low premium when the Scottsdale Mint would have sales. Now they're not really having those sales, and these bars tend to command a little bit more of a premium than something like, say, a generic silver bar, and I expect that trend may continue into the future. Bars do have a big collectible market, so if you can get your hands on some nice silver bars at a low premium, there's always the possibility that those may appreciate more than just the price of silver. You may see the premiums on these products move up as well. So that's definitely a reason to get your hands on some silver bars as well. So let me know what you guys think. What are you stacking? What do you like more, coins, bars, or rounds? I would love to hear what you have to say. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, then check out the ones that are popping up on your screen right now. Thank you all very much for watching. I will catch you next time. Smart Silver Stacker, out.